My God, Higgintoot, what are you wearing?
It's a loner. I know it's not the delicate, finely pleated ruffle that's currently all the rage.
It looks as though you're being attacked by a swan.
It's enormous. It's a wonder you're not toppling over. I mean, you're more top-heavy than Catherine the Great. You seen paintings of her? Oh, it's not.
Are you kidding? I can't get enough of them. You know me, I love looking at a nice set of plump duckies. But what I love even more is the fine tailoring at Henry's haberdashery, which is why I had reserved my ruffle there. I'm talking a very normal size, modest even, with a fine hand-sewn center pleat.
Oh, sort of like Hamilton's.
Alexander, you made it.
Happy to be here.
There he was, Alexander Hamilton, and he was wearing my ruffle.
Did you just gasp at your own reveal?
I did.
That was a sneak peek at tomorrow night's all-new episode of Ghosts. The fan-favorite sitcom is now in season 4.
Yeah, recently announced that the show has actually been picked up for 2 more seasons, which is great. And we're so happy that joining us now is actor Brandon Scott Jones, who stars as Captain Isaac Higgintoot. If you don't know who he is, it's because you know about Alexander Hamilton, your nemesis, instead. Thank you for being here.
I'm so excited to be here. It's very true. You actually hit the nail on the head. It's you either know about Alexander Hamilton or you know about Isaac Higgintoot. That's the binary of history.
You get offered this role and you're thinking, what on earth? What were you thinking when you got offered this role to be on the show on CBS?
What on earth is a good start? I will say, I was thinking, I was like, I couldn't believe it. It felt like such like a farce. It felt like this like wonderful, silly show. I grew up watching, like slapstick comedies, like, Young Frankenstein, and one of my favorite movies of all time is Clue, and that's literally about crazy characters running around an old mansion together. And so I think to get to do something like that, I was like, wait a second, I'm gonna get to do this every week. This is amazing. And so it felt too good to be true. And it's just, it's been so fun the entire time.
It looks like such a fun show. I also heard, just on a personal level, your dad is a foreign language teacher and you wanted to learn French when you went to go shoot. Did you do it? Are you fluent now?
You know what? As they say in French, no. Sadly, I've been taking classes. I'm in LA, and so in my off season, I take a class not too far from here. It's kind of fun to go back to school. But no, it's been slow going. I think there's nothing. The easiest way to describe it is there's nothing more terrifying to the wonderful, kind people of Montreal, short of murder, than seeing me try to speak French to them.
That is hysterical. All right, so tease for us what you can about the upcoming episode, Alexander Hamilton and the Ruffle Kerfluffle.
Yes. Oh boy, you know what? This is a long time coming. 4 years of Isaac having a chip on his shoulder about Alexander Hamilton, and we never knew exactly what it was that caused this epic rivalry that history has forgotten, and he's determined to make people remember. But this episode tomorrow, we see the origins of it, and in grand Isaac Higgintoot fashion, it is absolutely epically petty.
Love it. But it's kind of cool. Like, I mean, as a mom, if you're watching with your kids, it's funny, but it is kind of interesting that all these historical figures are just hanging out together in a house. You also kind of learn some stuff?
Yeah, every now and then we learn a little bit. I did for research watch Hamilton for this. It's sort of this interesting thing because the show is because it's a bunch of characters from history. We're not like time travelers. We've been learning and growing together. But it's fun to sort of like have us do our own research, bring that in, and let that inform our characters. And that is so fun to watch when you see a Viking and a hippie talking to each other, and you're like, oh wait, these are two people that you would never ever see anywhere else interacting, and they're dating on our show. So I mean, if that's not enough to watch, I don't know what is.
Nate Faxon, he an Oscar winner for a screenplay. I mean, what's it like to work with Nate Faxon?
I mean, God, let me tell you something. having an Oscar winner anywhere near me feels like shocking. I'm not gonna lie and say that I didn't feel bad for him. I was like, God, your career's really gone down. No, he's the best. He is truly Nat Faxon is this amazing actor and writer. And as soon as it was announced that he was playing Alexander Hamilton, I was very excited. But I never met him. I got tons of texts from people who had worked with him, who love him, and he had such everybody had such glowing things to say about him. So when he got there, I was like, this guy has a lot to live up to, and he just like exceeded every expectation. It was amazing. I couldn't believe how kind, nice, generous, funny, smart, cool, handsome, all of it. He was just the best.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, I mean, so much fun. And congrats on being renewed for some new seasons. If we're just new to the show, do you start watching now, or should people go back?
Go back. You know what? Go back to the first season. Get caught up. You can watch that first season and just really get the origin of how this is all happening and what those relationships are. And then you can kind of pop in, pop around, and so forth. But I'm always going to say, binge it on Paramount Plus. It's a great, bingeable show.
We know you studied at the New York Conservatory for Dramatic Arts in New York City. What was that experience like?
Oh, it was good. You know, I was that type of kid that I grew up in Baltimore or just north of Baltimore, and I knew I wanted to get to New York. So anything that could get me there was it. And I think getting to New York and then being able to act, it's really, with the exception of this job, it was the most concentrated amount of acting I'd ever done in my life. Like I was like waking up and going and doing a scene every day, and I hadn't had that in a long time until I got this show, and it's truly fantastic.
Well, Captain Isaac Higgintoot, we cannot wait to see what unfoils or unfurls tomorrow.
Yes.
Is it tomorrow?
Unfoils is a good word. I think unfoils is the right word, to be honest.
I think that's right. Well, it's good to see you. Thank you so much for spending some time with us.
Oh my God, it's so good to see you guys. Thank you very much for having me.
Absolutely.
Pleasure.
You can catch all the new episodes of Ghosts Thursday nights at 8:30. It's a great time slot right here on Channel 3. You can also find the show streaming live, of course, to binge on demand on Paramount Plus.
I love that he gave it a plug. It's so funny. All right, coming up next on this Wednesday afternoon, today is National Set a Good Example Day.